If you've been working hard but money still slips through your fingers, the problem might not be in your effort. It might be sitting in a quiet corner of your house, covered in dust. That decorative plant near your door, that forgotten pot on your balcony, could be more than just part of your decor. In Feng Shui, plants are not passive objects, they're energetic tools. And if you place the wrong one in the wrong spot, you're not just missing out on wealth, you might be blocking it entirely. What makes this even more surprising is that most people think they're doing the right thing. They buy a lucky plant, water it once in a while, and hope for the best. But Feng Shui doesn't work through chance. It works through flow, placement, and intention. For centuries, the wealthy have understood this. Emperors, merchants, and even quiet homekeepers have carefully chosen specific plants to guard their fortune, invite prosperity, and create harmony inside their space. These are not random choices. They are quiet rituals of wealth passed down through generations, not just to make money, but to keep it, grow it, and let it move without fear. And yet today, most homes are filled with well-meaning mistakes. Plants placed in dark corners in conflict with the room's energy, sending mixed signals to the flow of abundance. So ask yourself honestly, are the plants in your home helping your finances or quietly draining them? In this video, we'll explore 9 sacred Feng Shui plants that do far more than brighten a space. Each one holds a specific energy. Some attract wealth, some protect it, and others heal the blockages that keep it from flowing in. By the end, you'll know exactly which ones to grow, where to place them, and how to let your home become what it was always meant to be: a sanctuary of peace, purpose, and quiet prosperity. 1. Cornstalk Dracaena, the hands that receive prosperity. If one day your plant starts to bloom without warning, without season, pause. That might not be just a flower. That might be the universe whispering, "Get ready. Something good is coming." In Feng Shui, few plants carry the quiet magnetism of the Cornstalk Dracaena. With its tall wooden trunk and arching green leaves that fan outward like open hands, this plant is not merely decorative, it's symbolic. It represents a posture of receiving, not chasing, not forcing, but standing still, grounded, and ready for abundance to land gently where it's welcomed. You'll often find this plant in the offices of seasoned entrepreneurs, in the living rooms of families that seem to always land on their feet, and in entryways that just feel good. That's not coincidence, that's placement. The Cornstalk Dracaena is said to channel the wood element, the force of growth, vitality, and steady expansion. In Feng Shui, the east and southeast corners of a home or workspace are associated with this energy. Place this plant there and you're not just filling a gap in the room, you're activating a flow, a financial current, a green light to whatever's been stuck. But here's where it gets personal. This plant doesn't work like a lucky charm. It responds to how you treat it. Let the leaves gather dust, and you may notice delays, missed payments, deals that almost happened but slipped away. Why? Because dust in Feng Shui is stagnation. It clogs the channel between intention and result, and the Cornstalk Dracaena is especially sensitive to this. Its broad leaves are believed to act like antennae, absorbing, then amplifying the energy of a space. Keep them clean and you invite clarity. Let them dull and things begin to feel heavier than they should. Now think of your life. Have there been days where everything flows, ideas, income, conversations, and then weeks where nothing moves, even though you're working twice as hard? That's not always circumstance. Sometimes it's energy, blocked, unseen, ignored, like the forgotten corner in your living room where a once thriving plant now leans quietly toward the window, hoping for sun. Here's what the ancient masters knew. Nature listens before it speaks, and this plant more than most listens closely. In many traditions, it's said that when the Cornstalk Dracaena blooms unexpectedly, it's a divine sign of incoming wealth. Not a lottery win, something deeper, a project finally taking off, a new contract, a raise, a long-lost opportunity returning quietly through an unexpected door. But none of that happens unless you're paying attention. If you treat this plant like furniture, that's all it becomes. But if you care for it as you would a trusted ally, watering gently, wiping each leaf as if you were revealing a mirror, you begin to feel a shift. Your home becomes lighter. Your decisions clearer, your timing sharper, and money, it starts to land where it used to drift. So what should you do? First, choose your placement with care. East or southeast is ideal. These are the directions of growth and wealth in classical Feng Shui. If those aren't options, place it near your main entrance, but not in a cluttered hallway. Let it greet energy as it enters, like a calm doorkeeper who knows exactly what to let in. Second, make a habit of touch. Once a week, don't just water, connect. Feel the leaves, notice the color, speak softly if you wish. Not because the plant needs your words, but because you need the pause. Third, treat blooming as a message. It's not common for this plant to flower indoors. If it does, something is trying to get your attention. A door is opening. Look around your life. What have you been waiting for? What's just begun to shift? What's finally ready to grow? Because that's what this plant does. Not loudly, not quickly, but steadily, and always with grace. The Cornstalk Dracaena doesn't just fill space, it fills silence, it holds energy. It mirrors how open or closed you've become to the prosperity you say you want. And maybe that's the real question. Are your hands clenched in effort or open in trust? Let this plant remind you. 2. Croin, the flame of fortune. You can feel it before you see it. That electric flicker when someone walks into a room and you instantly know they carry momentum. Not noise, not force, but a silent surge of energy that turns conversations into contracts and ideas into income. The Croin plant holds that kind of presence. It doesn't beg for attention, it commands it with color. Its leaves erupt in bold strokes of red, gold, orange, and deep green, like brush strokes from a fire that never burns out. This isn't accidental. In Feng Shui, colors are energy in motion. Red activates, gold attracts, green sustains. The Croin isn't just alive, it's in action. This is the plant of people who are moving, shifting, reaching, and most importantly, ready. But here's what most people miss. Not all wealth energy is calm and soft. Some of it comes with a rush, a strike of lightning, a sudden yes after months of maybe. That kind of energy needs a plant that's not afraid to stand out. Croin is that plant. It thrives best in homes where action is brewing, where someone is starting something, pivoting, rebranding, or coming back to themselves after being quiet for too long. It's for those who have an inner fire but have forgotten to feed it. So ask yourself, when was the last time your life felt bright? Not just busy, not just full, but vibrant? The Croin speaks to the parts of you that want to be seen again, the projects you've shelved, the passions you've softened, the money you've settled for when you knew there was more. Its bold colors are more than decoration, they're a mirror. Are you still playing small in a life meant to blaze? In Feng Shui, this plant is best placed in the east, where the sun rises. Not just because it loves light, but because that direction represents beginnings, visibility, and awakening. The Croin in the east becomes more than a plant, it becomes a sunrise in your home. But here, the warning. Like fire, this plant needs balance. Put it in a dark room and it will dull. Overwater it and it will rot. Leave it in stagnant air and the leaves will crisp, not out of weakness but out of protest. Because just like your creativity, your ambition, your drive, This plant refuses to thrive in neglect. If you've ever noticed your ideas going nowhere, your motivation flickering, your finances sitting still despite all your efforts, the Croton might be showing you something. Energy needs movement, and movement needs attention. That's why its care becomes a ritual. Rotate it gently every few days so each leaf gets light. Speak your intention out loud as you mist its leaves, especially when starting something new. Don't just hope for momentum, activate it. In business, Croton is often placed near entryways or desks, not to impress clients but to stir energy. It tells your space, we're open for growth. And for those working from home, feeling the dullness of repetitive days, placing this plant beside your laptop or near your vision board can shift not just the mood, but the outcome. Energetically, this plant attracts attention, and attention, when paired with alignment, brings opportunity. But more than that, Croton revives the soul of the house. If your home has felt tired, if the same conversations keep looping, if the walls feel dim no matter how bright the bulbs are, it may be time to bring in fire. And not just visual fire, but symbolic fire. The kind that says, we're not done yet, there's still more to build, more to enjoy, more to become. Because the truth is, wealth doesn't always arrive gently. Sometimes it bursts through when you finally let yourself shine. When you stop toning down your voice, your prices, your dreams. And the Croton, it will be right there, flashing its impossible colors in quiet agreement. 3 snake plant, the guardian at the gate. Not all wealth is about more. Sometimes it's about keeping what you already have protected, undisturbed, quietly intact. Think of the last time things were going well. Money flowing in. Calm mornings, even small joys felt brighter. Then suddenly, without warning, something shifted. A leak in the roof, a deal gone cold, a tension in the house that had no name. What if the disturbance wasn't loud, but energetic? In Feng Shui, prosperity is not only about attraction, it's about protection. And no plant embodies this better than the snake plant. Tall, upright, sword-like leaves that rise from the soil like quiet sentinels. This is not a soft plant. It does not drape or bloom, it stands, it guards, and it knows. You may have walked past one in a lobby or at someone's front door and felt it, a kind of boundary you couldn't explain, a line drawn between chaos and calm. That is the power of the snake plant. It holds the perimeter so energy inside can be safe. But most people don't realize how deeply this affects their finances. Think of your money like a guest. It wants to stay where it feels respected, protected, valued. If your home, or even just your energy field, feels porous, invaded, or exposed, that guest won't linger. It may show up for a while, but it won't unpack. That's why the snake plant is so often placed near entryways, in homes, businesses, and sacred spaces. Not because it's trendy, but because it's ancient. In West African culture, it was known as the Sword of St. George, believed to ward off evil. In Feng Shui, it's a shield of yang energy, strong, stable, cutting through confusion like a blade through fog. But don't be fooled by its toughness. The snake plant doesn't bark, it doesn't demand, it simply is, present, upright, awake. And in a world where everything is trying to get in, ads, opinions, comparison, noise, that kind of still protection is rare and priceless. Energetically, it's said to filter more than air. Yes, it purifies toxins, improves oxygen at night, and thrives on neglect. But beyond that, it clears psychic clutter, emotional noise, the static that makes it hard to hear your own intuition. So if you've been feeling off, can't focus, second-guessing decisions, overwhelmed without reason, your space may be too open, too vulnerable, and this plant may be the quiet boundary you never knew you needed. But here's the key. Placement is sacred. Never trap the snake plant in a cluttered corner or next to something chaotic. It must breathe. Like a watchtower, it needs visibility, best places, by the front door either side. In your office, behind your desk, creating a wall of strength behind your back. Or in a room that needs restoring, not redecorating, but recentering. And though it's easy to care for, it's not to be ignored. Check the soil, speak to it. Wipe the blades with a soft cloth as if you're sharpening a sword. Not from fear, but from readiness. Because when this plant thrives, people around it report subtle shifts, fewer arguments, clearer thinking, better timing. It's not luck. It's alignment. And alignment, more than effort, is what opens the door to sustainable success. Let's talk about that for a moment. Sustainability, not the buzzword, the lived experience of being able to keep what you worked for, of resting without anxiety, of saying no without guilt. That's wealth too. And the snake plant is its quiet teacher. It doesn't grow fast. It doesn't change form. It simply reminds you not all movement is growth. Sometimes the richest progress comes from standing firm. So if your life has felt leaky, if your energy feels exposed, if your boundaries, financial, emotional, relational, have softened to the point of exhaustion, let this plant show you another way. Not through effort, but presence. Stand it tall. Let it rise beside your intentions, and the next time you pass it by, let it ask you a simple question. What in your life needs guarding, not with fear, but with clarity? Because the truth is, money doesn't just flow where it's invited. It stays where it feels safe. 4. Jade Plant, the safe keeper of money. There is a kind of wealth that doesn't shout. It doesn't wear gold watches or fill shopping carts. It lives quietly in the background, like a pantry that's always full, a bill that's always paid on time, a child that never feels the pinch of "we can't afford that." This is the wealth the jade plant understands. Compact, rounded, with glossy coin-shaped leaves, the jade plant doesn't climb or sprawl. It doesn't beg for light. It simply sits, rooted and real, like the grandmother who always has something saved for a rainy day. And in Feng Shui, this plant is exactly that. A savings account in living form, a safe keeper of prosperity, a guardian of slow, steady growth. While other Feng Shui plants invite wealth or protect it from negative flow, the jade plant does something different. It holds it. Its energy is grounded, nurturing, and patient. It doesn't bring windfalls. It encourages discipline. It teaches you the quiet power of enough, of not wasting, of not chasing, of knowing when to say yes and when to stay still. If your life feels like it's always catching up, earning, spending, earning again, the jade plant invites you into a new rhythm, retention. Because here's the truth. Attracting money is only half the story, keeping it. That's an entirely different skill, and it begins not with strategy, but with energy. This plant is often found on the desks of accountants, in the entryways of small family shops, and beside the home safes of those who have learned that true wealth is what you don't have to talk about. It's what stays long after the spotlight moves on, and its placement matters. In Feng Shui, the ideal spot for the jade plant is near the cash register, on your desk, or in the southeast corner of your home, areas tied to money flow and active decision-making. But never place it in the bedroom. Its yang energy, though gentle, disrupts the quiet stillness needed for deep rest. And financial anxiety often follows where sleep is disturbed. Care is simple, but symbolic. Water lightly. Wipe each leaf as if polishing coins. Speak intentions of gratitude, not craving. This plant responds not to ambition, but to responsibility. If you've ever felt like money comes, but never stays, this is your mirror. The jade plant reflects your relationship with security. Do you feel safe when things are calm, or do you only feel alive in chaos? Do you save with love or with fear? Do you spend from confidence or to fill something deeper? This plant doesn't judge, it simply holds. It holds space for wiser decisions, for emotional steadiness in financial matters, for letting go of impulse and growing into discernment. That's why it's often called the money tree in folk culture. Not because it multiplies riches overnight, but because it teaches the behaviors that make money last. And in a world addicted to the next big thing, that lesson is quietly revolutionary. There's also something else, something tender. In many homes, the jade plant becomes a ritual of legacy. Passed from mother to daughter, from mentor to student, it carries not just leaves, but wisdom. It says, "I've lived long enough to know what matters." And what matters often is not more, but enough consistently. So if you're rebuilding after loss, if you're tired of starting over, if you're ready to stop leaking energy into things that don't hold value, invite this plant into your space. Let it sit quietly near your working hands, your paying hands, your planning hands. Let it witness your journey not to get rich fast, but to grow rich wisely. And maybe, just maybe, one day you'll touch its smooth, cool leaves and realize something soft but powerful. You're no longer chasing money, you're keeping it. 5. Chinese evergreen, the matriarch of abundance. Some forms of wealth are loud. Stock markets rising, contracts signed, keys to new cars jingling in hand. But some wealth is quiet. It hums through the house like the scent of freshly cooked rice. It shows up in the steady light bill that always gets paid, in the fridge that's never quite empty, in the feeling of home being held, not by luck, but by someone's constant, invisible care. This is the wealth of the Chinese evergreen. Among all Feng Shui plants, this one is the most mother-like, not in gender, but in energy. It doesn't demand a spotlight. Its beauty is gentle, broad, soft leaves in creamy greens, sometimes brushed with silver or soft pink. But behind that gentle appearance lies a quiet strength, the ability to maintain harmony, preserve fortune, and neutralize tension within a home. Where other plants push energy outward, seeking, expanding, the Chinese evergreen works inward. It stabilizes. It's the plant you place at the center of the house, like a grandmother at the kitchen table, holding everything together without needing to raise her voice. In Feng Shui, this plant is especially powerful in living rooms, family gathering spaces, and offices where communication and teamwork matter. Its presence smooths conflict before it sparks. It absorbs tension before it escalates, and it radiates a calm that whispers, "Everything will be okay." If your home has felt heavy lately, unspoken frustrations, frequent miscommunications, financial worry in the background, this plant may be your remedy. And unlike more temperamental plants, the Chinese evergreen is forgiving. It tolerates low light, missed waterings, changes in air. Like any true matriarch, it bends without breaking, adjusts without complaining. But it does have one preference: attention. Not constant fussing, but acknowledgement. It responds best when touched gently, watered with presence, and placed in a space where people pass through often, where laughter, conversation, and real life flow naturally. In some traditions, there's a special belief. If a woman plants a Chinese evergreen on a Tuesday facing the northeast, it brings long-term abundance to the household, not through miracles, but through stability. Because the kind of wealth this plant supports isn't sudden, it's lasting. It shows up when your child always has what they need, when your fridge never echoes empty, when your days feel steady, even when times are hard. This plant doesn't just symbolize luck, it embodies stewardship. And that's why it's such a powerful teacher. It asks, are you tending to your energy like you tend to your family? Are you nourishing your space the way you nourish others? Have you been so busy chasing fortune that you forgot to maintain what you already have? Because true abundance doesn't come from the next big thing. It comes from a life that doesn't fall apart in the quiet moments. And that's what the Chinese evergreen protects, the quiet. So how do you bring its medicine into your life? Start by placing it where your family lingers, near a dining table, beside the couch, on the corner of a shared desk. Somewhere visible but never pushed aside. Wipe the leaves with a warm cloth once a week, not for aesthetics but for gratitude. Each time recall a small moment of stability in your week. A bill paid, a good night's sleep, a safe return home, and breathe it in. Because the more you acknowledge what's working, the more space you create for fortune to stay. And here's something even deeper. This plant, when cared for with intention, becomes a symbol of intergenerational blessing. Something your children remember. Something that grows quietly as you grow quietly. Something that says, I was here keeping things together. So if your house has felt rushed, scattered, or strained lately, maybe it's not more effort you need. Maybe it's the energy of someone or something who knows how to hold it all. The Chinese evergreen is that someone, soft, steady, strong, a matriarch of abundance waiting to breathe calm back into your home. 6. Devil's Ivy, the flow restorer. There's a certain tension that builds when money doesn't move. You feel it, not in your wallet, but in your chest. Clients pause, invoices delay. Projects feel like they're circling without landing. You tidy your desk, refresh your calendar, drink more coffee. But deep down, you know something else is stuck. This is where Devil's Ivy comes in. Trailing, climbing, spilling over pots like green water, this plant doesn't just decorate a space. It unclogs it. In Feng Shui, Devil's Ivy is known as a healer of blocked energy, especially around wealth. It doesn't force open doors. It finds the ones left ajar and slips through, gently waking up what's been still too long. Its soft, heart-shaped leaves whisper movement. Its vines trace invisible lines through your home, reminding every corner you are allowed to flow again. It thrives in places that feel paused. A neglected shelf in your office. The dead zone near your cash drawer. That in-between space in your hallway where energy seems to stop. Wherever you place it, Devil's Ivy doesn't just fill emptiness, it animates it. But it's more than symbolic, it's strategic. In Feng Shui, this plant is ideal for areas tied to money circulation. Near your desk, close to the entrance, beside a cash register. Anywhere transactions happen, energetic or literal. And if you've ever said, I work hard but nothing's changing, this is your sign. It's not always about effort. Sometimes the channel is simply blocked, and effort poured into a blocked channel just creates frustration. Devil's Ivy doesn't fight the blockage. It flows around it, like money does, like ease does, like life does when we finally stop pushing. But here's the beauty, this plant is forgiving. You don't need a green thumb, just the willingness to care. Water it when dry, let it trail freely. Don't confine it. Let it remind you that growth doesn't always go up. It often travels outwards, softly, quietly, completely. This plant is especially powerful for entrepreneurs and creatives. People who live on cycles, launch and wait, build and pause. It keeps your energy circulating during the waiting. It prevents stagnation from becoming self-doubt. That's the deeper gift. It doesn't just restore financial flow. It restores trust in timing. You'll notice something else, too. Homes with Devil's Ivy often feel fresher, not just in air quality, but in possibility. It's one of the best air purifiers in the plant world. But more than removing toxins from the lungs, it clears static from the mind. Ideas return. Emails get answered. Unexpected calls come in. It's not magic, it's alignment. Because when your space begins to flow, your mind follows. And when your mind flows, your decisions shift. And when your decisions shift, money moves, sometimes in trickles, sometimes in waves. Here's a small ritual you can try. Place a strand of devil's ivy near your front door. Let it trail downward. Tie a small gold ribbon at the tip. Each morning as you pass by, brush your fingers across the leaves and say, "Flow in, flow through." It may sound simple, but over time these rituals create rhythm. And rhythm is what money loves most. One more thing, don't hide this plant. Let it be visible, let it take space. Let it remind you and your home that ease is not laziness, it's wisdom. It's knowing when to act and when to trust that what's yours is on its way. Because if you've ever felt like you're stuck in effort with no return, devil's ivy is not just a plant. It's a message. Flow is your natural state. You don't have to force what's meant for you. You just have to clear the way. 7. Rubber plant, the stabilizer. There's a moment after every storm, when the wind has calmed, the ground is soaked and silence settles in. That's when you notice what's still standing. Some plants bend, some break, but the rubber plant, it remains, thick, glossy leaves, a sturdy central stem, a stillness that speaks of inner strength. This is not a delicate plant. It doesn't flutter in the breeze or seek attention. It's the plant of people who have been through things, losses, pivots, hard-earned wisdom. And in Feng Shui, the rubber plant carries exactly that energy, stability. It doesn't just represent wealth, it protects it. It acts like a silent anchor in your space, calming the financial waves, grounding emotional chaos, and saying, without words, we'll get through this. If you've ever been on a financial roller coaster, highs that didn't last, lows that shook your confidence, this plant is for you. It's the one you bring in when you're rebuilding, after a layoff, after a divorce, after a health scare that drained more than your energy. It holds the vibration of we begin again. But unlike other wealth plants that invite opportunity, the rubber plant specializes in stopping the leak. Energetically, it plugs the silent holes in your space, where anxiety escapes, where money disappears without reason, where effort feels unreciprocated. Its thick leaves absorb more than toxins, they absorb noise. Not the kind you hear, but the kind that hums in your nervous system. The thoughts like, will it happen again? Can I trust this income? Is it safe to relax? And maybe that's the deepest form of prosperity, being able to breathe again. In practical Feng Shui, this plant is best placed in high-traffic energy areas, by the front door, beside your desk, near windows where qi enters. It's not meant to be hidden, it's meant to guard. Some business owners place it near the main entrance of their store, not for beauty, but for boundaries. They say revenue feels more steady with it there. Fewer emergencies, fewer financial surprises. And that's the real gift of the rubber plant. It makes the unpredictable bearable. But here's something people overlook, its relationship with dignity. This plant doesn't thrive in chaos. It doesn't enjoy being shoved between junk piles or ignored for weeks. Like wealth itself, it needs respect. So care for it with presence. Wipe its wide leaves as if polishing a shield. Place it in a ceramic pot, sturdy, intentional. And when you water it, don't rush. Stand still for a moment and ask yourself, what in my life needs holding? What part of me is ready to be strong again, not with force, but with calm? Because here's the truth, stability isn't flashy. It doesn't go viral, but it's what makes every other kind of success sustainable. A house can be filled with expensive things and still feel unstable. A job can pay well but drain your soul. A relationship can look perfect and still tremble beneath surface silence. The rubber plant doesn't care about appearance. It cares about foundation. That's why so many people instinctively buy one after a life event that shakes them. They may not know Feng Shui, but they feel the need for something solid. And when you sit near it, you feel it too, like a quiet elder who doesn't say much, but whose presence changes the room. You find yourself breathing slower, thinking more clearly, spending more wisely. And isn't that what wealth is truly for? Not just acquiring, but anchoring, not just growing, but staying upright even when life gets messy. So if your life has felt wobbly, if you're tired of starting over, if you crave a sense of finally being safe to thrive, let the rubber plant root that into your home. Not loudly, not suddenly, but deeply. 8. Bonsai Pine, the legacy tree. There are plants you grow for today, and there are plants you grow for a future you may never fully see. The bonsai pine belongs to the second kind. Its presence is quiet. Its shape, carefully sculpted over years, is a reflection not of haste but of patience. Its branches do not chase the sky. They learn to hold space with grace, resilience, and deep-rooted wisdom. In Feng Shui, the bonsai pine is not just a symbol of longevity. It is a living metaphor for legacy. Not fast money, not flashy success, but wealth that outlasts the noise. That stays when trends change. That still stands, even when you are no longer the one tending it. This is the plant of people who think beyond themselves, people who ask, what am I building that will still matter when I'm gone? What can I leave, not just in a will, but in a way of life? If other Feng Shui plants are rivers, fast-moving and full of potential, the bonsai pine is the mountain. It grounds, it holds, it watches. And perhaps that's why it has become a favorite among those who have reached a certain point in life, not chasing anymore, but choosing. It thrives in homes where values are passed down, where dinner tables are shared across generations, where stories are told not to impress but to remind. Its presence speaks not only to financial prosperity but to emotional wealth, trust, endurance, a life lived with intention. Placed in a living room, it becomes a gentle anchor, drawing energy inward, then holding it steady. In Feng Shui, it's often positioned near the center of the home or by a window facing nature, where it can connect with earth and air, symbolizing harmony between movement and stillness. But this isn't a plant you buy and forget. It asks for your time, not daily attention, but presence. Pruning not just for appearance, but for direction. Wiring not just to shape, but to teach yourself how to guide gently, not control. In that way, the bonsai pine mirrors parenting, mentorship, the sacred role of elderhood. Many women who keep this plant speak of it as a kind of companion, one they talk to, reflect with, and even pass down. It becomes part of the home's rhythm, a slow, grounding pulse beneath the everyday noise. And here's something beautiful: when a bonsai pine thrives, it does so in cycles. Sometimes it sheds, sometimes it pauses. Sometimes it looks like nothing's happening, but beneath the surface, roots deepen. That is the kind of prosperity this plant teaches. Not constant gain, but cumulative strength. Not outward growth, but inward reach. If your life has been loud lately, rushing from one task to another, decisions piled upon decisions, always reaching but never quite arriving, this plant invites you to stop, to breathe, to ask not just what you want now, but what kind of story you're writing with your daily choices. Because every pot of bonsai pine tells a story, of hands that shaped it, of time that didn't rush it, of values that endured. And when you place it in your home, you're not just inviting peace, you're inviting purpose. So what can you do? Place it somewhere meaningful, not hidden but held. A place where you pause often, where you reflect, where your children or grandchildren might one day sit beside it and wonder, who started this? Let that question carry your answer. Because in the end, legacy isn't just what we leave behind. It's what we shape day by day and how we live, love, and grow, even when no one is watching. And the bonsai pine, it's always watching, always holding space, always reminding you that the most valuable things take time. And that time, used with care, becomes wealth too. 9. Christ Thorn, the protector of fortune. Sometimes the path to prosperity isn't lined with soft petals. Sometimes it's guarded by thorns. The Christ thorn doesn't fit the typical idea of a lucky plant. It doesn't trail gracefully like ivy. It doesn't offer broad leaves or a gentle canopy. Instead, it rises with determination, thorned stem, upright posture, and vibrant blossoms that appear suddenly, defiantly, like small victories after hardship. In Feng Shui, this plant is the warrior guardian of wealth, not because it multiplies money, but because it shields it, not by attracting fortune, but by refusing to let harm pass through. Its energy is sharp but sacred. In Chinese tradition, it's sometimes called 8 Immortals, a name tied to divine protection. And in many cultures, thorns represent resilience, standing your ground when life pricks, cuts, or tries to break through your boundaries. This is a plant for those who have fought to build what they have, who have protected their families not just with love but with vigilance, who know what it means to earn, to risk, to rebuild. The Christ thorn is not a passive ornament. It's a statement. This home has been through things, and it still stands. Placed correctly, on balconies, by front entrances, or in the garden facing outward, it becomes a kind of energetic gatekeeper. It absorbs harshness before it enters. It redirects jealousy. It repels losses that come without reason. But there's more to this plant than defense. At the heart of its toughness blooms something unexpected: flowers. Soft, often red or pink, circling the thorns like little halos of joy. In Feng Shui, these blossoms signal renewal, a sign that good fortune is not only arriving, it's arriving because of what you've endured. Many who grow this plant note a strange coincidence. It blooms after a difficult season, financial hardship, family loss, deep change. As if the plant senses you've made it through. Now receive what's yours. And this duality, thorns and blossoms, is where its power lies, because wealth in its deepest form is not comfort, it's security. It's knowing that no matter what comes next, you have a base that holds. That misfortune can knock but not destroy. That even in chaos, your ground remains. That's what Christ thorn represents. But it does ask something in return: respect. Never place it where people rest, bedrooms, meditation corners, or dining tables. Its energy is not soothing, it's alert. It works best in thresholds, transition zones, where movement comes and goes, where it can catch the edge of things and shift them. Caring for it requires presence. Gloves, yes, careful hands, but also intention. Water it with steadiness, not indulgence. Wipe its pot, not its thorns. Observe when it blooms, not just for beauty, but for timing. Ask yourself, what changed in me before this flower appeared? That's the subtle wisdom this plant teaches. Prosperity comes when protection is in place. Not just alarms and passwords, energetic boundaries. Knowing who to say yes to, knowing when to say no. Knowing how to defend your peace without becoming hardened. In a world that often tells women to soften, to accommodate, to smile when things hurt, the Christ thorn stands differently. It says you can protect what matters. You can carry beauty and boundaries. You can guard your fortune without apology. And that lesson, it's not just for finances, it's for your time, your health, your inner quiet. So if you felt exposed lately, like life has come too close, too harsh, too fast, this plant is not just decoration. It's reinforcement. It's the final line in your energetic blueprint. It doesn't stop life from being hard. But it reminds you, you are harder to break than you think. Let it stand by your door. Let its blossoms meet the sun, and let it tell every guest, seen or unseen, this house protects its peace. Final, in the end, it's not about plants. It's about presence. Every leaf you touch, every corner you rearrange, every moment you choose to care for something quietly growing in your space, these are not just acts of decoration. They are decisions, tiny agreements with life that say, I am ready to hold prosperity. I am willing to tend to it, not just hope for it. Because money, like energy, doesn't always come crashing in. Sometimes it enters like morning light, gently only where it's welcomed. And sometimes it waits, until the home is ready, until you are ready. Perhaps what your space has been asking for isn't one more purchase or a perfect plan, but a pause, a leaf wiped clean, a moment of stillness beside something alive, something rooted. So before you leave this video, don't just think about where to place a plant. Think about where you've placed your attention, your care, your patience. Because that's where wealth will bloom. And tonight, as the house quiets and the lights soften and the world pulls back just a little, ask yourself gently, what part of my life is ready to grow simply because I'm now willing to tend to it? Then listen, you may already know the answer.